Should you display ads in your car or outside your car when driving for Uber and Lyft? This is a very, very tricky video because it's ever changing. This is also dependent on city to state. This also involves, are you an employee or an independent contractor? A lot of tricky things in this arena. But this question has gotten a lot more popular, I've noticed over the years, as advertisements, especially for rideshare drivers, have gotten more prevalent. I'm talking about everything with, I've seen some when it comes to the car decal in terms of it being almost detailed around it with almost like a wrap, having some ads on it. I've seen some ridesharing cars that have almost like the Domino's pizza sign on top of it with ads. And of course, not only outside the vehicle, but inside. It's very common for me now when I get an Uber or Lyft that they have one of those tablets, and sometimes they're more advanced, where it's almost like the tablet on the back of the seat on an airplane, where it has games, movies, TV shows, random things that I can watch, whatever the case is. But other ones are more just tickers that they're almost like a virtual ad billboard that they just scroll with different ads. Should you have these in or outside your car? I'm not gonna lie, my best advice, and this is me being honest, is talk to Uber and Lyft. The reason why I say that is this is such a gray area. For example, I heard that Uber said, look, you cannot wrap your car, meaning you cannot have advertisements on the outside of your car. If you do so, you could be deactivated, your account could be terminated. But what about the thing on the top? They mentioned the wrap, but what about the thing on the top? Does a tablet on the inside with ads count as ads when it comes to the wrap? Are they going to put that in the same category? Or are those considered two different types of advertisements? Another thing, like I touched upon in the beginning of this video, is independent contractors versus employees. There's pros and cons to both, but when it comes to being an independent contractor, which in most areas you are as a rideshare driver, you can probably, from a legal perspective, get away with it because it's your vehicle, you're an independent contractor. However, if, let's say in your area, you become an employee, there's a good legal chance Uber and Lyft can have a lot more control over you in good and bad ways, and as a result, they might be able to say, hey, you cannot have ads in your car, we have a lot more control over you, and we know a lot more about what you're doing because you're an employee. Again, this is very, very tricky. Both arenas are very tricky, independent contractor versus employee. And like I said too, it seems like that Uber said you can't have a wrap, but they didn't really talk about any ads inside the car. At least I haven't seen that. So this is a very tricky arena depending on the type of ad as well. My honest best advice, like I said, is talk to them. My guess, probably not surprisingly, is more likely than not, they're going to say, sorry, no ads in the car or outside the car. And becomes this kind of tricky arena. I will say this, don't ask for permission, but beg for forgiveness. It does go into that area that a lot of drivers are saying, hey, I got contacted by this company. They're giving me an extra $100, $200 a week just to have their tablet in the back, kind of hanging off my seat so people can see it in the back. I'm getting an extra, let's say $200 a week from having that. I'm just not going to tell Lyft and Uber. Who cares? And you can definitely do that. However, let's say, and again, just super rare case scenario. Again, this is maybe like 0.001% chance. Let's say someone gets in your car. They give you a 5-star rating. They comment and say, oh, loved Bob. He was a great driver. I also loved the tablet on the back with all the games and everything. It was really, really fun to play that. Although it was annoying that there was ads on those games, it was still fun. Let's say someone says that. Well, now Lyft might read that and say, wait, what do you mean ads? What do you talk about this tablet with ads and games? Next thing you know, they contact you and they say, hey, what is this? Or let's say if someone who works for Lyft gets in your car and sees it. That may be an issue. I actually drove someone who worked for Uber before, which is kind of funny. So that is something to keep in mind. Again, these chances are unbelievably small. And I feel like for most drivers doing advertisements, they're like, I'm going to risk it because the chance of being caught is unbelievably small, which is true. But keep in mind, and I hate to say it, I can see both sides of this. I could see Uber and Lyft deactivating your account or terminating you, saying, sorry, we don't want advertisements in our car. You have them. And now we have to go through this whole appeal process, which is a whole other issue, so on and so forth. It's not a simple answer, honestly, when it comes to advertisements. But the best way to do this to save your account and to be as safe as possible is to ask Lyft and Uber. And who knows, maybe they'll give you different answers. Maybe Uber will say, hey, sorry, you can't have wraps, but the tablets are okay. Lyft may be the opposite. And now you're like, shoot, I don't know what to do because they're both saying opposite things. I don't know. But like I said, every situation is different. And of course, for most advertisement companies, they do like to see some type of analytics to determine how much money you're going to make. If, let's say, you only drive 10 hours a week versus 80 hours a week, they're probably going to pay the person 80 hours a week more money, and understandably so, because they're driving so much more. And this is something that you have to financially weigh out, because let's say, I'm making this up, let's say you drive a lot. Let's say you're doing 80-ish hour weeks, and a company says, hey, you know what? You're driving a lot. We'll give you 10 grand extra a year just for doing what you're doing anyway. Again, there's a lot of tricky things with this. I'm not trying to tell you to have ads in your car or not. I'm not telling you to absolutely talk to Lyft and Uber, even though that's my best suggestion, or not. All I'm saying is these are all things you have to weigh out. But for people who do have advertisements in their cars, whether it's a wrap outside of it or inside, whether it's a tablet or something else, how has that experience gone for you? Do you like it or not? Is the money good or not? Let me know. What do you think in the comments?